have a seat, and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, welcome to the introduction of the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame's Distinguished Class of 2023. This is our 50th year. First banquet was in March 5th of 1974, so grab that. So I want to thank retired Supreme Court Judge Joseph Bach and his wife Dorothy. Judge has been on the board since 1987. They sponsored the breakfast, so thanks, Judge. This year we're going to induct, it'll tie for the most ever, 8 individuals who will be formally inducted at the Sports Hall of Fame's annual banquet set for Sunday, June 23rd at 5 p.m. right here at the Convention Center, which will be part of the 8th ever induction celebration weekend. For 50 years we have done induction banquets. That weekend, June 21st to 23rd, we're going to do things that we have not done before. We're going to go ahead and have a welcome event for all the past inductees and current inductees. For the first time ever, we're inviting all the past inductees back, and we're actually paying for the hotel, putting them up at the Santa Ana Hotel, and for some of the out-of-town, their airfare. We want this to be the biggest and best ever. The biggest sports celebrity event New Mexico has ever seen. Right now I've talked to, there's 83 living inductees, and 55 of them I've already committed to come. I still got to call about 20 some. So I expect to be an awesome event. We'll have a welcome event on Friday the 21st. We will have a charity golf event, and I'll get into the charities here that we'll be raising money for over at Santa Ana Golf Course. Later that night, we're going to have a Hall of Fame night. Stephen Michael Casada, comedian at the new Santa Ana Comedy Club, will do the entertaining for the past inductees and current inductees. We have the whole room reserved. And then Sunday, we haven't done this before, but we want the public to be able to come and hang around the inductees, our sports heroes. So we have breakfast for the legend, and that's going to be sponsored by All in Autographs. And then later that evening, right here at the Convention Center, we'll have our 50th induction banquet. Who does the selection of these inductees? I'm going to tell you, we have 20 people that are pretty passionate with sports. We all volunteer our time. We don't have no paid staff. This year we did something we never have done before. We always have a nomination committee, and they spend a couple months bringing down the number of inductees. Right now we have 108 candidates that have been nominated online that have yet to be inducted, and so we had a committee over the years, and they'd spend 2 months, and then they would present their 15, 20 candidates for the final pool. This year we decided in September that the whole board was going to be part of it. We wanted this 50th to be pretty special, and so each board member got to pick 2 or 3 of the 108, and so we ended up with 52. And since October, we've been reviewing all the biographies, whittled it down to 30, and eventually to 20, and now to 8. So pretty intense. I really harped on focusing on accomplishments, and the 8 people you have here have done a lot of accomplishments to make us proud. So what is the process? Like I said, and a little bit of history of the Hall of Fame. For 32 years, officially, they started in 1973. As I mentioned earlier, they didn't have their first banquet till March 5th of 1974. And up to 2005, we were the Albuquerque Sports Hall of Fame. Then Governor Bill Richardson kind of encouraged the board. I think Russell Goff, if Russell's here, was the president at the time, and we became the Albuquerque/New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame in 2005. And then in 2014, we finally became the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. And then for 41 years, our bylaws only allowed us to induct 4 people. When we went to Albuquerque/New Mexico, we would do 2 Albuquerque and 2 outside of Albuquerque. And thanks to the time President Gail Lovato, we changed the bylaws and allowed us to do, the board to decide annually how many we would induct. So, so since then, we have inducted anywhere between 5 and I think in 2016 we did 8. So this will be the second time we've done 8 in the process. So the criteria is a person that has been born or lived in New Mexico and must meet one of the following criteria to be considered for nomination as an inductee. Must have participated in a club, high school, college athletics, and proceeded to a successful professional career in athletics or coaching or achieved Olympic success. Must rank among the leaders in their respective sport and wins or state titles in New Mexico if under consideration for coaching high school athletics. Must achieve international, national, statewide fame or for the athletic accomplishment in their career. Must have significantly impacted athletics in New Mexico for a long period of time in an area including but not limited to coach, administrator, sportscaster, sports journalist, referee, or business owner. So the last 3, you had to meet at least one of those, and each of these inductees sure do meet those. So, so let's kind of introduce the new inductees. The first one unable to come is Larry Hayes. Larry was born in Elida and went to Dora High School and went to Eastern New Mexico. When I first read his bio, he said he averaged 30 at Eastern New Mexico. I said, well, I don't remember anybody averaging 30 points at Eastern, but I read the fine print, it said 30 seconds a game. So, so he averaged 30 seconds a game, but he went on to have a phenomenal career. And it's still at age, I think, 81. He's in his 47th year. He's won over 1,800 games in baseball and softball. He's currently coaching at Colorado Christian. They just lost their first game yesterday. They're 6-1. He coached for 22 years at Texas Tech, and right now ranks number 5 all-time in college baseball. So, Larry, are you with us here on the Zoom?
Coach?
All right, Coach. Go and say a few words. You got your speaker on? There, Coach. Let's go to the next one, and then we'll get back to Coach. The next one, she grew up until 8th grade in the big town of Tucumcari, New Mexico. Her 8th grade year, she participated in the state track meet as an 8th grader, decided to move to Indianapolis, and that's where she finished her high school career. Went on to go to Coastal Carolina University, was a 5-time All-American in weight throw, hammer throw, shot put, and discus. She won 11 national track titles and a 2-time Pan American gold medalist. And I said, like I mentioned earlier, a 3-time U.S. Olympian in the hammer throw, Amber Campbell. Are you there, Amber? Well, tell us what it means to be inducted.
I'm just so grateful and thankful to the board, to the association for thinking of me and for inducting me. This is a huge honor, and I can't wait to get back to New Mexico to see everyone and to celebrate. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful, and I appreciate just the opportunity to be amongst you all virtually this morning, but to accept this nomination into the Hall of Fame for New Mexico. This is extremely exciting.
So what's the reason you're not here?
Oh, I'll be giving birth in a couple of weeks, so I'm like 38, 39 months pregnant this moment, so my doctor and my husband thought it'd be best I probably shouldn't jump on a plane to travel halfway across the U.S.
Well, we wish you the best, and we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The next one is Eon. Let's see if he's on. Skip him. The next one is unable to come. He was with us last night. I took him, all the inductees that came to Albuquerque to dinner last night, and the other inductee is Klaus Weber. Klaus was under the weather this morning and unable to attend. For you know Klaus, he came to UNM in 1976 to be the cross-country ski coach. Klaus went on to coach over 2,500 games in soccer, tennis, and skiing. In school, club, and college, he also played over 1,000 soccer games. He competed in the last over 40 soccer match at the age of 66. So I want to honor Klaus, and again, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it because he was under the weather today. So, all right, so let's get with the ones that are here, and then we'll come back to Coach Hayes if we get his mic up. The first one I'd like to have come up to the stage is George Brooks. George, 2004 men's ski team is the only men's NCAA Division I champion ever in New Mexico in any sport. In 1970, George approached UNM about making skiing an intercollegiate sport. As a result, he became the university's head coach at the age of 20, and he would go on to coach for the next 37 years. So let's welcome George. You're going to have to come all the way around, George. Still got it?
I thought Thank you all very much. It is a tremendous, tremendous honor, and I'm very, very humbled to think that the people on this committee and the people of New Mexico believe the accomplishments that myself and many other people, athletes, other coaches, trainers, etc., were able to have with our ski program at UNM. The ski program was very fortunate in actually 20 years this year to have the first NCAA National Championship, Division I, of men and women, and the sport was men and women, at our NCAAs, actually out in the West. So that was a great honor, and I was asked this morning what is probably the biggest honor, and that is that we had probably 100 or 350 or 400 athletes at UNM that graduated, that are going out in the community and doing things. And that, I think, is the most important thing about what New Mexico skiing did. But it is a great honor. I thank everyone here, and there are so many people, I can't go through that, but thank you very much for the board for recognizing skiing and myself and what has happened in that. Thank you. I will give a few more graces.
Yeah. The next one is Jim Marshall. Jim coached for 42 years, 4 years in high school, 27 years at New Mexico Highlands, and 11 at the College of the Southwest. He was a baseball coach who won 619 college baseball games. His 1967 Cowboys team at Highlands won the NEIA National Baseball Championship, and Jim passed away in 2021, and representing him is his son, Jim Bob Marshall.
Good morning. My name is Jim Bob Marshall, and I'll be representing my dad, Jim Marshall. Bear with me. So, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank all the board members, I don't know none of you, but I'll get to meet you here in a minute. My dad was a hard man, and he loved all his players. I think the biggest thing that I got was, it was tough love from him. It's so hard, but every kid that I played with and every kid that played before me or after me, they're doing well in the community right now. And I think it all because of his tough love. There's two people I want to thank right now is Coach Abreu, my man, and Ed Manzanares, thank you very much. But most of all, I want to thank the board for thinking of my dad. So, alrighty, Coach B, thank you for doing what you did for my dad when he came to Hobbs. Appreciate it, and thank you all.
I think Jim God didn't realize it was snowing outside, so I'm glad you dressed appropriately. So, the next individual I'm going to ask to come up is Frank Maestas is the next one. Frank passed away a few years back, and he was a pioneer for the Hispanics in journalism in general and in sports journalism. He was one of the first Latino sports writers in the nation back in 1960. He was a sports writer for the Albuquerque Journal for 28 years. His feature articles brought tremendous pride and sense of accomplishments to numerous New Mexico families and communities. All the box scores you see over the years of each game came back. He started back in the 60s, and back then they didn't have computers, and so everything was called in. So representing Frank Maestas is his son, Antonio Mo Maestas.
Thank you, Marty. There is nothing more New Mexican than a great story. And you just gotta recall in the 60s and 70s, the newspaper business in this country was big time. Every single city had a morning and an afternoon paper. If you went to bed before 10 o'clock news, you woke up, ran to the driveway to check the scores. You know, and that was, and if you lived in Albuquerque and throughout New Mexico for 30 years, you would see my dad's name in the sports page. So Frank Maestas is in the Hall of Fame. I want to, and it's a tribute to his work, because it's post-humanist, you know, in a definitional sense, but it wasn't done that way in a deliberate sense, because he's present today. He retired from the Albuquerque Journal about 32 years ago. He passed away, as Marty said, about 18 years ago. So we're just very grateful to the board members for rekindling his name, talking about his career, and putting him in the Hall of Fame with his contemporaries and the other sports journalists and broadcasters. Henry Tafoya, his contemporary at the Tribune, Carlos Salazar, and of course Mike Roberts, the beautiful radio voice. So my dad, in addition to writing for the covering Lobo sports, Dukes, golf, he loved Nancy Lopez, boxing. His love, as we all know, was high school sports. And he convinced the Journal that the Journal needs to cover high school sports in New Mexico. And so they're like, well, you know, if you want this paper to cover high school sports, then you do it. And he did for 30 years. And so he would encourage the coaches to call in the box scores every week, call in your top 10 rankings. So everything you see today, he kind of established through the years. But more importantly, he reached out to those players, those coaches, those teams, the beauty of sports as we know it that transcends life, and promoted them in the sports page. So he wrote articles that grandmas and moms would put on the fridge and would make a tremendous difference to that family, that community, that school, or that town. And so it's just on behalf of my brother Miguel, who lives in Seattle, can't wait to tell the world, all the folks in Vegas, that one day my dad's on the corner selling the Optic. And then, you know, after college, after going to West and Highlands, he was one of the premier Latino sports writers in the entire country. So thank you all. We're going to have a great spring and summer. We're going to have a blast at the banquet and tell Frank stories, you know, until the cows come home. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. You mean Coach Chase? You there, Coach?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and say some words.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you. Go for it.
All right. Well, when you are born in Alaska, raised at Georgia, and you're a marginal athlete at New Mexico University, you never dream that you'd get an honor like this. So I am surprised, I'm excited, I'm humbled, and I'm thankful to be able to go into this class, raising Mexicans. I want to thank Marty and anyone else that has helped.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this season. One of the ones we were trying to get this morning, and unfortunately Thursday night got sick too, is Charlie Chris. Charlie is one of the greatest New Mexico State Aggie basketball players ever. Charlie was the first Aggie to be named an All-American. He was the third leading scorer and top in assists for the 1970 Final Four New Mexico State Aggie team. He entered the NBA in 1977 as the league's shortest active player at 5'8". He would go on to play 418 games over 8 years with Atlantic Hawks, the San Diego Clippers, and Milwaukee Bucks. And we were trying to get Charlie on, but it didn't look like we were able to do it this morning. So I'm going to finish up with our last one and the youngest one. We talked about it. Youngest inductee is Glover Quinn. Glover is one of the best Louisville players in the storied history of New Mexico football. Rocky Long said the two best players he ever coached was Brian Urlacher and Glover Quinn. In 2008, Glover was the MVP for the University of Mexico football team, only the second defensive player named the team's MVP other than Brian Urlacher. Glover would go on to be first team All-Mountain West his senior year. He would go on to have a great career in the NFL for 10 seasons. He started 162 of 165 games. I told him last night, only Terrence Mathis, Robin Cole, and Brian Urlacher have played more games in the NFL. And so I'd like to welcome, and he played for the Houston Texans, and thank you, Detroit Lions, for losing a couple weeks ago. Otherwise, he'd be at the Super Bowl. I'd like to welcome Glover Quinn. There you go.
Oh man, thank you. Wow, I just want to say thank you to Marty, the board, for nominating me and deciding to elect me into this this beautiful class of inductees into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. I can't sit here and say that it was a dream come true because I never really dreamed of being in the Hall of Fame. I never even thought of this moment. I never thought that this was something that I would even be a part of. I was just a little kid from a small town that wanted to keep playing ball, and New Mexico gave me an opportunity. I remember in 2005 when they came and said something to me, I had no idea of anything about New Mexico. But the one thing I knew is they wanted me. They wanted me, and they gave me an opportunity, and for me, that's all I wanted, and I just wanted to make the most of it. And so coming out here, being able to get my college education, getting an opportunity to go on and play in the NFL and represent the University of New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, it's just been a life-changing thing, a decision that in 2005 I never knew would bring me to this point, but it did. And so thank you to everybody that was a part of nominating me, electing me, getting me to this moment. Thank you to all the other inductees that's going in, and thank you to everybody that's been a part of my journey so far. So thank you.
We talked last night, and there was a special weekend in 2016. The Lobos beat Boise State at Boise State. Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey. And the next day, the Detroit Lions beat the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. So, and what did you say? High five to the 505, right? In his press conference. So, this year we're also going to honor some special recognition, some big accomplishments in 2023. In the past, we've done the Coach of the Years for high school and college, pro athletes, but this year the board decided just to honor things that people that have accomplished some big time accomplishments. I'll go through these real briefly. Chase Early, who was the world champion in the shot put. She's from Los Alamos. She went to high school at Los Alamos and went to Oklahoma State University. And right now, currently, I think she competes next week here in the big national tournament. She's probably the favorite to win the shot put in the Olympics this year. Josh Kerr, former UNM great 1,500 meter racer, won the world champions in Hungary here in August. Mitch Garver, who played for the Lobos and coached Birmingham. He was a member of the World Series champion Texas Rangers. Gianna Raymer, phenomenal 8th grader who won the 6A state championship, the Southwest Nike Regional Championship in 6th in the Nike National, and she's just an 8th grader. Jack Nixon, the sportscaster for football and basketball at New Mexico State, called his 500th football game. So he's been calling for about 45, 50 years. Jerry Keel and the New Mexico State Aggies for winning 2 straight bowl appearances. Savannah Sanchez, the Hope Christian soccer player who broke the state girls soccer record of goals of 170 and 407 points. Jayleen Montez, Cibola softball player who broke the girls state record with 20 home runs last year. Mikhail Muniz from Aztec High School. She was a 4-time state champion in girls wrestling, first one ever. The Albuquerque Isotopes for being the 2023 Bob Frettis Award winner for the best overall AAA organization in minor league baseball, having the 11th million fan in September and named the 2020 Copa de la Diversión Campeón. And then Habitat Samuel, who finished a runner-up at the men's cross country. Brian Mendoza won the WBC Intern Junior Middleweight Championship and was voted Knockout of the Year. And the New Mexico cheer team, which won the national championship. So we'll be honoring all those individuals that weekend. And with it being our 50th anniversary, the tickets the last few years have been close to $100 a ticket. And the most people that have ever attended a banquet is about 900 and some. And I told the board my goal is this to be the biggest ever. So with your help, I want to go over, I want to fill it up. The maximum I think is 1,500 people. So we're going to, from here to March 31st, we're going to have tickets are going to go up for $50 to equal our 50th anniversary. And tables will go for $500. And then as part of our mission statement, this board has worked really hard to raise money for charities and scholarships. We've raised probably over $125,000 for ALS New Mexico for our good friend, G. Pito. Raise your hand, G. He's been battling ALS for 12 years. He was the president when he was battling ALS, and he never misses a press conference, a golf event, and I guarantee he'll be at the Lobo game tonight cheering. So we've given out over $100,000 in scholarships over the last 8 years. And also with ALS, the new executive director, Katie Crouch, and the former executive director, Joe Cordova, have been instrumental in our partnership for the charities. This year, we have added the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Fe and Del Norte, Milwaukee, Espanola, and where's Jay and John Abeda. So thank you for coming out and representing the Boys Club. And the other charity we're doing is Coach Mike Brown, inducted in 2017 for the Multiple System Trophy charity, and his daughter Sean, his 2 sons, and basketball high school coaches Danny and Greg Brown. We hope to raise some money for your dad's charity. Our goal is to raise at least $75,000 this year, which will be the most we've ever done. And so we're reaching out to corporate companies to come out and be some partner companies. We already have 20 companies already committed. Gala Chevrolet is going to be our presenting partner for the induction banquet. It's given us $25,000. All in autographs, like as I mentioned earlier, is going to be sponsoring the breakfast with the legends. I'll be sponsoring the Hall of Fame night. I wanted to be there to have the fun night. So my agency, my State Farm agency, will be doing that. New Mexico Highlands Foundation will be also a major sponsor. BH Capital, Eastern New Mexico University, ProView Networks that's here, and also broadcasting this event, this press conference. So if anybody missed the press conference, Steve Davis and his group up there, and Aaron will put this up on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. So you can go back and look at it. I want to thank Joe O'Neill and ESPN 101.7, the team, for helping out in being a partner. LinkQuest Inc., ServPro, Car Crafters, Ashley Durant, State Farm, and here at the Convention Center. We're looking to have 60 partners, 54 of them being golf teams, to help us achieve this. I want to conclude and thank Jeanette Ashman and her staff from the Convention Center for being our partnership press conference partner. And also, again, thanks to Joe O'Neill and ESPN 101.7, the team, and Steve Davis for coming out here, and Channel 13 and 7 for showing up. So we look forward to seeing a packed Convention Center on June 23rd, and you all are welcome to come. Thank you. So if you want to go over and get interviewed, why don't we go back there, or where do you want them, Jared? Channel 13, where do you want? Okay, you guys, well, a couple of you go over that way, and a couple of you go that way. They'll be interviewing you for the newspaper and for the TV stations. This concludes our press conference.